Hi everybody. Thanks for coming back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this adorable little standard poodle. He's a black standard poodle. You can also do this in white as well. It would be just as easy to do white and the white curled yarn. So yeah, he's supposed to be a woolly, and I was filling an order, and I thought, hey, let me bring you guys along with me so you can see exactly how I do this, because I had to make it up every step of the way, and it was so much fun. I'll probably actually be making more. So let's go ahead and get started. What you're going to need for today is a 1.5 inch ball. This I got from a just a needle felted ball garland. You can also just use a 1 inch if you wanted it to go a little smaller. I used 14 gauge wire for the legs, and it looks like this, 14 gauge wire. And I used an awl to get those legs and tail on there. Use the wire for the tail as well. I used this yarn, which is a curly yarn. I'll put the link for this in the description and the name up on the screen right now. Used a little bit of winter white just for the eyes. I used a tiny pinch of gray for the nose, and some black to cover the ball and the legs and the tail and the dots in the eyes. A little tiny bit of orchid pink for his mouth, and that is just about it. Super simple. Let's go ahead and get started. My next order that is due is a little woolly of she wanted a standard poodle. So what's really funny is my woolies are normally just this size, but when people ask for a specific, woolly, something very, very specific, they tend to grow a little bit because sometimes it's very hard to get everything on one little ball. So standard poodle is what she asked for. So this should be really, really kind of funny and interesting at the same time. So we're going to do our best to get this standard black poodle as small and compact on this little ball as possible. So this is a ball. It's about 1.5 inches in diameter, and I got this actually off of a felt garland, and I cut it into, just cut them out individually just to use, so the garland didn't go to waste. So I'm going to cover it with some black carded wool. I'm just going to use my clover pen tool with 242 triangles in it just to cover it up. I figured it would be kind of cool to take you guys along on some of my commissions, especially on the woolies, because they're small and they go pretty quickly. That way you can see the creative process. Never made one of these before, but normally with the special request woolly, I just figure it out. So I'm going to cover it in black right now, just because it is supposed to be a black standard poodle. The only curly ribbon I have is this dark gray, so I think the black undertone will definitely help it give the illusion that it's black. Let's just say that. It's a $10 piece, and then when I do special orders I charge $20, but definitely would be losing money if I went and tried to buy a black curly yarn. So we're gonna just do our best here. I'm just basically covering it as best I can all around. Not trying to be perfect in any way, just because it's going to be covered with that yarn. Just want to cover the ball. I love to use the curly yarn for, you know, sheep and poodles, that kind of thing. I feel like it's easier to work with than locks. Although I do love the look of locks. Locks are beautiful. Just about covered. Just a little bit more, excuse me. Just getting over the flu. Had a lot going on in March. If you watched my previous video on the butterfly, you'll know that I just lost my mom. So that's lots of stuff going on. And I think my immunities were just down that week, and I ended up picking up the flu, probably from somebody in the hospital. I'm feeling better now. Just still have a little lingering cough. I want to just also thank everybody for their condolences. You guys are so sweet, and I truly appreciate you. Really makes you feel part of a community and loved to hear all the kind words, and I do appreciate that so much. Okay, so it's covered pretty much. A few areas maybe that need a little. Okay. So what I'm going to do before I put the top coat on is I'm going to put 4 little legs in, just because he's a standard poodle. So with it being a standard poodle, it's got to have the illusion of being tall. So I'm going to figure this out. This is a 14 gauge aluminum wire. I'm going to want it to go up into the body at least that far, just for strength. And I'll probably stop it right about there. So let me just get that clip, and then we'll go from there. I'll probably leave a little bit for a foot turn up. So let me do 3 more of these. It's just about. Those are my guinea pigs you hear in the background. Okay, so I have 4 little legs. I'm going to take my awl. This is like a super duty powerful awl. Was passed down to me from my dad. So can't tell you where to get one of these. However, I will tell you, get a good awl, because you will use it a lot in felting. Anytime that I use an awl and I'm trying to add wire, I like to go all 4 different directions. So up, I'm pushing this metal up into the ball, and then pushing down. So the actual action of it pushing down is happening. It's impossible for you to see it, but I go in all 4 different directions, left, right, up, and down. And I do that so that we will not lose the hole. This is a clear drying Gorilla Glue. And I'm just going to put a little bit on the end. Just really want it to stick very well. Stick that up into that hole. There we go. So that one's in, it'll dry. Let's see. So I want this one to be equal with it. On the other side. I'm doing the legs first because it would be impossible to get them in after I put this on, because you really should be able to see the hole. That's the key. See how when I do it up and down and left and right, you can really see that hole still. So let me get some glue on this one. I want these to be as level as possible as well. So I'm looking for that too. Okay. This is going to be really funny. This is going to be hilarious. Okay, so these legs I'm going to do pretty close because woolies are teeny. The fun of a woolly is trying to fit everything into a small little space and have it still look like what you're making. So if you can accomplish that, you're making a woolly. Okay. I'll get that one. This Gorilla Glue is like some pretty serious stuff. Once I get all 4 of them in there, I'll see if it stands up. And if I need to make an adjustment, I will. But now I'm just trying to get these as equal as I can to each other, right in the center of the bottom there. Okay. And this last one. Stick it right in there. Let me just see how it stands. This one is a little too long. Not a lot, just a tiny, tiny bit. There. So, yeah. He passed the stand test. So that's awesome. I'm going to let that dry just a little bit before I work on it again. Oh, he stood over there, but he doesn't stand over there. Hold on. It's got to stand everywhere. kind of looks like a giraffe or something. Okay, so for his little head, I'm just going to take some black. And I'm going to roll it up, kind of a cone shape almost. Take a little more. Kind of just want a little cone shape. And it's going to be larger on one side than the other, of course. I get my 38. This is a 38 spiral. Get some more light in here. My studio is actually very dark, and we're working on that. Hopefully going to be getting some track lights, painting the ceiling, because right now the ceiling is just wood, and that tends to make it really dark in here. And generally, under any other circumstance, I would love a raw wood ceiling, but when you're filming, it is not good. And I don't plan on stopping filming anytime soon, so gotta make my surroundings work for me. So I'm just stabbing this into the shape that I want, which is basically a conical head shape, rounded at this end over here on the right. So I'm just gonna stab in. Maybe what I can do is keep him primarily black, and then just use this for the bald parts, like the ones that ball up. Not bald like you're bald, but like his little poofs. It's all in planning, right? Like when I start a woolly, sometimes I have no idea what I'm going to do, and it just sort of plays out. So we'll see. See how it goes. Fold that over. Just still working towards that shape. Some of this black has gotten polluted with some lighter colors. So if I see that, I'll just remove it. Trying not to go into the mat. There are some, you can see I'm kind of hitting the mat a little bit. I don't like to do that. Okay, I'm going to go with a smaller gauge. This is now the 40 triangle. It's finer, I should say. The number's going up, but this gauge is going down. I'm just going to use this to sort of fine tune it. Just want to work on this, like in the little nose area. Be very careful with these because woolies are tiny and they can hurt your fingers. The needle, you can stab your finger really easy when you're working on something so small. I'm just going to rub it in my hands. Yeah. Okay, I don't feel like it's big enough on the back, so I'm going to grab another chunk here and kind of wrap that around the back. He's going to be a big chunky boy and then have a teeny little head. It's going to look funny, so try to see if I can get that a little bit more proportioned. I don't want to add any more to the snout right now because definitely would like that to be kind of long and thin since he's a standard poodle. Okay. I am pretty positive this is not the shape of a standard poodle head, but we're just improvising here. Okay. It's looking okay. He's going to be a funny little boy, I think. I'm just rounding out the snout a little, just to define it. And get some gray for the nose because you'll never see the black if I do black. I'm just taking a little pinch and I'm going to roll it up. And see if I can get a nose on here. I like to roll it when I do a little nose like this. I like to roll it, make it kind of tight, and then shape it when it's on the face. I'm just going to start by grabbing the bottom of it and tacking it down so it's easier to work with. And then I can sort of maneuver where I want it to go. I want this nose to be on the very top of the snout. I just think that would be cute. I like big noses. If you watch my videos, I always tend to do big eyes and big noses. I like them. I think it gives more character. Let me take a look. So now I'm just gonna use the needle to shape it into a somewhat nose shape. I say somewhat because woolies have a mind of their own, honestly. Everyone that comes to our trade show loves the woolies. They'll stand in front of the woolies for 10 minutes, look at each one of them. There's a little piece of piece of fiber sticking there and it's driving me nutsy. There, got it. So I'm just kind of shaping the nose. I'm going to go even finer needle. This is my 42. And I chose to switch because I don't want this to indent into the face. So if I go with a finer needle, it's going to help me smooth it and shape it again, but it's not going to like stick the wool into the dog's little face there. See if I can sort of fine tune the snout here. It's a little rough. Okay. So I'm going to put some white for the eyes and then a little black dot in that, just because you will not be able to see a black eye on this. I still have the 42 triangle. See if I can kind of make it a big eye. When you're working on black, you have to get a little bit creative because it's impossible to see other colors on it. So where I normally wouldn't do a white eye, here you kind of have no choice. I can't do gray because that's what I just did the nose. And turn it over. A lot of times I'll just stab into the same spot and it brings my wool fibers right down to where I want them to go. I'll follow the needle that way, and then once I get the majority of it in, like here, then I can grab the, you know, all the loose little fibers and sort of pull those into the center. See if I can try to get this to somewhat match the other eye. And I'm going to trim, there's just like a crazy fiber there, so trim that off. Okay. It's going to work. It's going to work. Okay. So now I'm just going to do a little black dot inside the white, so we don't look like we have ghost eyes here. Just a little dot. And I'm going to stay with my 42. I'm going to do the dot right on the bottom, I think. If you guys have any questions about woolies, let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have about them. But basically, they're just all little like 1 to 2 inch creatures. And I sell them for $10 or 2 for $18 at my trade shows. And if they want a special order like this one, I charge $20 because, you know, it always takes a little bit more intuition, or not intuition, thoughtfulness, I guess, to come up with a design for something that you've never done before. Anytime you have to do that, it does take a little more time. But you can see I'm actually, I put no thought into this before this film because with a woolly, I sort of design it as I go if it's new, if it's a new one. So that's pretty cute. I'm going to make him some little ears real quick. I would like to do this. I'm going to pull this mat over because I just, this is definitely going to be something that's going to pollute my mat. So I don't want to get black all over my pink. So I'm just folding into a standard ear shape here. I'm going to start, leave the fuzzy part up here, and I'm going to start with my clover pen tool, very gently at an angle, very gently stabbing. Just I'm not going crazy with this. I'm just very gently starting by my finger and pulling down at an angle to the bottom of the ear. Once I get that shape, I'm going to turn it over. It is picking up the fibers from the mat. And then I'm going to just hit it a few times with the clover punch tool, really gently. And then I will rub it between my fingers, my thumb and my finger. All of this is helping the felting process. And I will trim it up a little. And then make the other one. Super simple. Basically just fold it into a little ear shape. Hold that fringe down. And same thing with this clover pen tool. Really picked up fiber from the mat. To avoid that, I could start with a brand new, like a sheet over this mat. To have it to do over again, I might have done that. But I think it'll be okay. I'm going to add just a little more on top. It's not the same thick. Ow. Got myself. It's not the same thickness as the other one. So that's why I added a little more fiber to it, just to thicken it up. Trim that. Okay. Pretty good. We're gonna be okay with that. Let me move these guys back over. Alrighty. So now I'm gonna go ahead and attach the ears. I'll find the best side. And put it down on the mat. I'm just gonna let it fall. And I'm gonna use a 36 triangle just to attach to the top of the head. I always like to use a strong needle just for my first initial attachment, so I know it's not going anywhere. And then I will follow up with my 40 because I don't want to, indent the entire head, but I do need it on there. Okay. So I do the same thing on this side. I also tell people when they order a woolly that they have to understand that this is all artist interpretation as well. So I am seeing the standard poodle in my brain, and sometimes what goes on in my brain is a little scary. So they have to just understand that it's going to come out of my brain and be okay with that. Okay, so there is that. I'm going to give him a little pink mouth. Let me grab my pink. This is actually called Orchid from Living Felt, if you just fall in love with this color. I just took a teeny little pinch. That's probably even way too much. Let me just get a little less than that. Tiny little pinch, teeny. And I'm going to pop it down. Take my 42. Just going to stab it right in the center there. Hold it down. Now I kind of like to do the little half-cocked smiles. That's my favorite smile. Kind of known for that with my little animals. And basically all that means is that it just starts on one side and it doesn't really go all the way across to the other side. It's just kind of like a little, this one's not really cooperating too well. There we go. A little half-cock smile. Okay. These are in now really well. I mean, I could pull them out if I wanted to, but I'll let it dry just a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and finish his top. So the thought process is I'm going to put a poof at the top. This curly ribbon is great for that. I use this on sheep. Let me just kind of see how much I'm going to need. Yeah, probably don't even need all of that. That's about 3 inches or 2.5 inches. I'm just going to cut maybe an inch. an inch of it. I'm going to lay it right on top. And I'm going to go with a 40. Now, when I start this ribbon, I want to just start it somewhere. I mean, this yarn, I want to start it somewhere and then just start stabbing that down. And to make this kind of comical, I'm going to want this to kind of go high. I want it to kind of be tall. So I don't want to smush it down. Kind of let it stand up. So I'm just going to move my needle around and pop it in strategic places. There. Now he's gonna got a little poof on the top of his head. Super cute. Hopefully this doesn't end up looking like a sheep. It might. We'll see. I'm gonna go ahead and lay it flat, hold the head down, and I'm gonna go from the bottom of the head into the body. Now again, it's a woolly. He doesn't have a neck. Go from the body up into the head. I'm gonna actually grab my stronger needle. So this is my 36. Be careful because you do have wire in there. So you do want to be careful. Make sure it gets on really good. This particular customer, she collects the woolies, and she has a little like a shadow box she puts them in. So hopefully this one's not too tall. I mean, I lost a little bit of black there doing that, so I'm going to just take a little black and put it back over that. That will happen. Do it with my 42. Trying to just make sure that I'm not getting close to the glue. Glue and needles are not a good mix. You don't want your needle tip to touch Gorilla Glue. It can render it useless. So there's still wet glue inside the body there, and I just like to be very careful. We're not really stabbing terribly hard here. Okay, so that's looking kind of cute. What? How cute are you? I'm gonna do a little bit around his neck. I'm just gonna add this where I strategically believe it should be. Do a little bit around his neck there. Oh my God, how cute you are. What? You're so cute. It's the illusion of a standard poodle. This is what we're doing. Woolies are never realistic. So I stuck that in with the 36. triangle, and now I'm going to take my 40 and just sort of hit it again. If you don't get this yarn in pretty well, it will unravel. I'll put the link for the yarn in the description as well. Aw, yeah, you're pretty cute. I might come back with one little piece right there, but pretty good, pretty good. Okay. So what we're gonna do, it's kind of hard to wrap with carded wool, but we're gonna do it because I want it to match. Well, it's not really hard to wrap with carded wool. It's hard to wrap with a little piece like this. But we're gonna make it work. I am gonna get Elmer's glue, and I'm just gonna put a little, and get it to work. There we go. And put a little strip of Elmer's glue up the leg just to help it stick. And then I'm gonna take a piece, try to draft it out as much as I can without pulling it apart. So I'm going very, very lightly with my hands. I'm gonna hold this down with my thumb. It's gonna be tricky because of these wires. I don't wanna touch them and move them too much. So I'm just gonna have to maneuver here. So I'm just gonna wrap, kind of hold it there, wrap, hold it. I want this tight. If I don't do it tight, it's gonna all unravel. I'm gonna see if I can get to the bottom and then go back up. That's the goal. I'm gonna get to the very, very bottom. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so I'm at the bottom. Oops. And now I'm gonna try to go back up. I tend to pull it close to my body when I wrap, so I'm trying to stay over the mat for you guys. You do whatever is comfortable for you. And the key to this is just staying as close to that wire as possible. Okay, so now I got back up to the top. I'm gonna set him down. And I'm gonna take my 36 and I'm gonna anchor that right there. Okay, wipe it in case I got glue. I don't want any glue on my needle. And now I'm gonna take my 40 and I'm just gonna use the 40 to just get the rest of this excess down. See, it didn't even take that much glue, wool to cover that little tiny leg. So that's all down. See, and that's good. I mean, it's not coming off at all. Okay, so let me do it again. Get another little piece. Hopefully they all go as smoothly. Draft it out. Put some glue. Oh, did I close it? You don't need lots of glue, just a little bit. Hold it down with your thumb. And really have to maneuver there to get around. So you might have to pull like up and then come back where you're supposed to be just to get around the other legs. quite a bit of glue on that one. You don't need that much glue. And I'm just going back up. And I'm going to tack it down. So I have a lot of excess. I'm not worried about that excess. My main concern right now is making sure this is even. The excess can be stabbed in. Not a biggie. So that's the 36. I'm going to wipe it. I just always want to wipe it after I've gone around glue anywhere at all. And then here's my 40. And I'm just stabbing down all this extra wool. Okay. 2 down, 2 to go. Boy, this black just picks everything up. Oh my goodness. So it's picking up some of the glue bits, and I'll have to do something about that. It's picking up off the mat too. Something white is on my mat. Okay, that's all right. We'll fix it. Everything is fixable in felting. You've heard me say 1,000 times, and it's true, it's true. Okay. I think somehow this black might have gotten polluted with something. Okay. Here we go. Leg number 3. Start with this end. I always want to start with the end that seems stronger, like as far as the wool goes. And back. You can get to the end and back and start working your way back. You are golden. I'm losing my, see how it's real thin right there? So I'm gonna keep going. I'm being very careful not to pull too hard. And I'm gonna try to see if I can get past that little part right there, which I did. Okay, and I'm just gonna lay it right there. Okay. And let me find the best piece that's left here. Yeah, there's some little white, I don't know what that is, little white specks in there. So it's been traveling, not traveling, but been toting my wool a lot this past month. So that tends to happen. You try not to allow them to sort of touch each other or get contaminated with each other, but sometimes you just got to put them all in a bag and wish for the best. So I broke there. I really don't like to break on the very tip. So we're going to try it again. Try to see if I can get down to at least the tip and then come back. Just to keep that tight. So that one I ended in the leg. So it'll be a little different. I'm gonna actually felt right here on the leg and try to combine those fibers so they don't unravel. I'm not going into the metal, I'm going down the length of the leg. If you needed to rewrap it, you could. Don't think that's going to be necessary in this case. Okay. You're looking so cute. I just took them off camera and blew those little white things off. Perfectly fine. Make sure you can still stand. Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some around the top of each leg here and then down at the bottom of the foot. And that should be good. So I'm just going to cut 4 equal parts just so it matches. Okay. And then I'm going to lay it down and I'm just going to start with my 36. Just like to get one forceful punch in there with 36, and then we can just go around it. Might even be too much. Yeah, I actually think that's too much. I want it to look like this. So, see, sometimes you overestimate. And you have to just play it by ear. So I could probably do all 4 of these with that one piece. So I'm going to just pop these in. This is my 40 spiral. And then do the same thing here. Let me hit it with the 36 one time. There. And that one, I don't know what happened. each little piece of yarn is going to have its own little like character. So that first one just went kind of flat. If that happens, you just put more. You know what? I'm just going to I'm going to wrap this one. Why keep cutting? Work wiser, not harder, right? Get that 36 on there. That 36, just consider that like an anchor, like it's going to anchor it down. And then the rest of it is just sort of holding it in place. You can see there's really no special magic to this. I'm just wrapping it on. Okay. So cute. So cute. You're cute. Okay, so I'm going to just strengthen up the bottom of this a little. All right. I want a little ball at the bottom of this. So I'm just going to see how this goes if I just start tight. I'm experimenting with y'all. So I'm going to see how it goes if I start tight. And then end up a little bit loosey-goosey here. Yeah. It's not good. Okay. We may have to go... See if I can get it to turn on. Oh, nope, not yet. Almost. I'm gonna get this ready. In case it does. If it doesn't, oh, there it goes. Okay, awesome. There's 3, there's 4. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna try. I'm gonna have to go kind of fast. I'm gonna set it on there. And wrap it around. And be careful not to burn yourself. I'm just going to try to hold that in a little ball. See how that goes. If I need to trim it up, I can in a minute. Get the next one on there. Wrap it around. around. Careful, it will be hot. Don't burn yourself. So it's like I said, when you're making something like this and it's a special request, I never would have honestly tried to do a woolly, a standard poodle woolly, just because it'd be like, oh, that's impossible. But when somebody asks you and it's special to them, I'm like, well, we'll figure it out. There's a little pink in there. We'll figure it out. And this is figuring it out. Taking y'all on the journey with me. Because it's good to know not just, how to make everything the same perfect little thing, but, you're going to have little trials and little challenges. And sometimes it's good to go through the thought process, figure things out. This one's not working too great. I can kind of hold it on there. Someone burned me. Fold that right over the top. I'm just going to let it cool a little so I don't burn myself like I did last time. Yeah, I don't even know like how these little balls came about, but they look like balls, so I will take it. I'm gonna flatten out the bottom there. This one's a mess. I'm gonna redo this one. Redoing. Don't settle. Don't settle for what you're not happy with. Redo it. Worst comes to worst. I ran out of glue right at that last little second. I know it's going to be hot, but I don't care. Pop it down there. Okay, so I'm going to trim these up, see what we got. Oh my Lord. Oh, he needs a tail. We can do that. Let me see if I can. I'm just sort of looking over it, trying to see if there's any areas that are just really popping out that they need some work. Just gonna trim a little excess off here. He still stands, so that's good. He needs a tail. That's what he's missing. Tail. Okay, I'm gonna turn the glue gun off. Get my wire that I just put aside earlier, my extra. The tail should make him super cute. So I will just gonna pop it right here. Okay. So I just made a hole with my awl, and we're doing exactly the same thing that I did for the legs. I'm gonna stick that in and bend it up a little bit. I would say, considering it's supposed to be a woolly, he's pretty cute. Woolies are big and fat, or short and little and fat, I should say. Okay, so we're gonna let that dry. Let me grab some of this. Let's see if I can go ahead and just do it while it's drying in there. Should not have a problem. Always cover your Gorilla Glue or else the whole thing will dry up on you. All right, let's try this. I'm going to try to wrap it while it's wet. Just for time purposes for you guys. Yeah. Shouldn't be too hard, except it's kind of twisting on me, so that's all right. We'll work with it. I'll hold the wire still. Ideally, wait till your tail is dry. Okay. But I'm going to make it all the way to the back to the body, which is great. Try to hold it in place there. Hold that in place and take my 36 and pop that down. Okay. Anytime it's around glue, clean that off. And cute. Keep getting white showing through, which I don't like. Probably could have done 2 coats on this, or started with a black ball. That would have been probably easier. All right, turn this back on. Turning my glue gun back on, and I'm gonna grab another little piece. This. get his little tail on. He's a cutie. You're a cutie. Okay. So really, I mean, I'm just wrapping it around that hot glue. And then when I get to the very, very end, I'm just popping the last little piece on there. And it's stuck, so I'm counting that as a win. I'm just gonna trim anything that's crazy off. But I like the poof. I don't want to trim too much. And there you have it. Look at this little boy. So this is my first time ever doing a woolly with long legs. I've never done that before. I have always done little tiny short ones. So, but I think he's super cute. Little bit of maybe some excess glue there, but you know, just go over, look at it, get anything that's white off of him and cover any bare spots. Otherwise, I think that's a pretty cute little standard poodle. Definitely fast little project. And what a great gift that would make. Thank you so much for coming today. Check some of my other videos out. And please feel free to find me on Facebook. Send me pictures of what you make. If you make this little poodle today or any of my other creations, I would absolutely love to see them. And you can visit my Shopify store. It's www.morefunwithfelt.com and see any of the products that I have for sale today. And otherwise, leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought and what you'd like to see in the future. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thanks so much for coming. Bye-bye.